Hi, and welcome to this vocabulary lesson. In my lessons, I cover a basic word that is one of the 3,000 most used English words. However, I go deeper. So stick around to the very end of this video because we are going to look at synonyms and collocations. We're going to see this word used in context, and we're going to find out all the different words that belong in the word family. We're going to hear the opposite, the noun, the verb, the adjective, and the adverb for all the words that I teach in this series. I hope you'll stick around with me every single day and learn these 3,000 words with me. Naturally, naturally. Notice my pronunciation. When I have a T followed by a U sound, so I'm getting a T and then a Y together, it's going to sound like a ch, okay? And we do this when it's the same word or when they're different words. For example, so the T and then the Y sound together equal ch in pronunciation. And we do this with the word naturally, but we also do it with this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. You're going to hear this T and Y together sounds like a ch, okay? Unless you're singing. If you're singing, you don't want to say ch too much. So then we work very hard when we're singing not to say I want you to do this. We say I want you to do this. It's prettier. But and this is an overarching concept for pronunciation, especially American pronunciation. All of our pronunciation rules come from the idea that we are lazy and we want to pronounce it in the most comfortable way for our mouth. So saying, I want you to do this is easier for us than saying, I want you to do this. That's why we make all of our pronunciation decisions. It's easier that way for our mouths to make those sounds. Some synonyms for naturally are inherently. So if I'm talking about nature, this is a piece of nature, right? A bird eating a worm, that's very natural. Nature is everything that's outside that grows without any work on my part. And it can be just, let's look at my hair for a minute. My hair is blonde, but it's not naturally blonde. If you look at the roots, you'll see it's not over here. I'm going white. But on this side, you can kind of see my natural color is quite dark. I am naturally a brunette, but I dye my hair because my skin tone has changed over the years and I think I look better as a blonde. I am inherently a brunette. That's my natural state. Naturally can mean inherently or intrinsically, something that is within the person, or essentially, fundamentally, or basically. Those are all synonyms for the word naturally that mean inherently. Notice that when I add the ly to an adjective like fundamental, then I double up the L. Naturally can also mean usually, or most often, normally, or typically, commonly, or as a rule. I naturally want to do this. That means I commonly want to do this. And naturally can mean sincerely, or freely, or genuinely, openly. So those are all some synonyms for the word naturally. She naturally excelled at languages. This means she has an innate ability that requires little effort to learn a language. Some people are like that. I have a theory about people who are naturally good at languages. And that is, they are also naturally good at music, and they have a strong ability to memorize. So there are two components that make it very natural to learn different languages. One, you have an excellent memory, and two, you have a very good ear. This is why you'd be good at music, because you can hear small differences that maybe most people can't hear. Those would be the natural tendencies that make you a good language learner. That does not mean that if you are bad at memory or bad at listening, that you will not be able to learn English. Learning English takes work. It's one of the harder languages to learn. But there are some people that it comes more naturally to than others. Everyone can learn it. Some people it takes longer and is harder work. The river naturally curves through the valley. This shows that the word is used as an adverb, describes something that is occurring according to nature or without human intervention. So this would be innately or just without humans helping it. He was naturally upset after hearing the news. Well, this is of course. Of course, this is expected and obvious. Of course he's upset after hearing the news. He's naturally upset. That's how we would use it. The fabric naturally pairs with linen and cotton. This naturally pairs idea means that it's harmonious or appropriate. Naturally, I assumed you would call before arriving. This is a mild reproach. Well, of course you should have called. Naturally, I thought you would do that. Here, we often mistake natural for cultural. I'm going to tell a story. Because when you get married, you get to know another person's culture, their family culture, right? And when my daughter got married, in our home, we tried very hard to send thank you notes. And so it was natural for me to assume that my daughter should send thank you notes to those who gave her gifts. The family that she married into thought that no, you shouldn't have to send thank you notes. And for them, it was not natural that I gave her thank you cards and said, you should send these. They thought that that was very unnatural because culturally their family didn't do that, while our family did. Naturally, I assumed they would be sending thank you notes, but they didn't. And it was a little bit difficult for us to figure out where they were coming from because we were coming from different cultures. And that's not necessarily just like different countries' cultures. Every family has their own culture, right? I'm sure there's something that if you're married or have a good friend, that their family just does things differently or has different values than you have. So there's differences in individual cultures. Naturally is also a way to say, yes, of course. Do you want to go to the movie? Naturally, of course. I'm there. So the opposite of natural might be synthetic or artificial. So the opposite of naturally might be artificially. The noun is nature. I don't think there's a verb. The adjective is natural, and the adverb is naturally. Naturally. I really hope that you enjoyed this word. Research shows that if you know 3,000 words, then you can pretty much say anything you need to say. I hope I'll see you tomorrow, and please like and subscribe.